Take us
Awesome.
home.
Greg, thank you so much. I really, not being a mid-career male or midlife male, I still super love this conversation.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I was really, I'll say I was really touched when you spoke about, crossing over the age that your father was when he died. I crossed over that age for my mother when I turned 53. And I know that reaching that milestone definitely was something that fueled me for like, okay, I got past this stage. Now, how do I make the most of what's next? So I heard you sort of refer to it as the bonus years. And what I'm curious about is how you help others, maybe who haven't had that kind of an experience, how you help motivate others to sort of take that first step to make their pivot.
Mm, great question. And I think it's about inspiration rather than motivation. This is something I talk about a lot. I think motivation is fleeting. I think there's a lot of, you know, there's, we wake up on Monday, there's a ton of motivation on Mondays, and every other day in motivation. And I tend to think of it as inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you can be out there living and leading by example, there was like that old ad campaign, act locally, think globally, or think globally.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it comes down to, again, what can we control? Controlling the controllables, and how do we live and how do we lead by example? And that makes the most impact. That when people are looking at you and they're seeing the way that you are living and the way that you are operating, that is inspiring. And that is inspiring to them to take action. When I work with people now that are in that position, whether they've experienced loss or whatever their situation or circumstances, I just say situations and circumstances can defeat us or they can define us.
Mm-hmm.
So which way do you want to go from here? You don't need, we all have our own individual issues, traumas, experiences, whatever they are. Wherever you are, that's your starting point. That's what you've experienced. That's yours. So what are we going to do tomorrow to start making change? And it is incremental. So what we really work on is back to the 5 rules. Knowing what's important is what's most important. We've got to identify that first. If we can do that, then we can move to step 2. If you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get there. Now we can start to map out what your actions start to look like. We can look at, again, are you consuming more than you're producing? Back to that aggregate, curate, eliminate. We're really just following those steps. And a lot of my check-ins, even with my clients, are very, very simple. Did you do what you said you were going to do today? It's a yes or no question. We have choices all day long. Did you make the better choice? Sometimes our conversations are literally like 2 sentences by text, but that's all people need. It's that accountability. It's that support. Here's where I'm going to meet you, or tomorrow I'm going to call and check on you. Whether it's, and again, avoid extremes. One of the other things I found is that, if you go from 0 to 100, you're going to blow the engine overnight. If you go from 100 to 0, you're going to fry the brakes. So reduction, in certain areas. If it's drinking or exercising, maybe it's not cold turkey. Maybe it's 3 drinks to 2 drinks. Then it's to 1 drink. Or we're going to swap out a Diet Coke for water at 1 meal. We're going to change certain things, and they're going to be incremental so that the progress that you're making, and progress as a process, becomes a sustainable lifestyle and not an extreme change where you fall off. I'm just not a big proponent, and we see on standards, not a big proponent of those like Whole30, 75 hard, like all these things, like, because I think in a lot of instances they set people up for failure. What do you do on day 76? You go do exactly what you did, because now you reward yourself with all, versus they can kickstart certain things, but you got to build on a solid foundation. And I think it's got to be incremental, and it's got to be progressive, and it's got to be sustainable.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you. I really love the defeat you or define you. That was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.